Hi, everybody. Mr. Gosmark here, Nicholas Gosmark, the MYP coordinator at Mountainside High School, and I'm here to talk to you about the personal project, a little bit more about the personal project, its details. So the personal project is a project the sophomores take on here as part of the MYP program. All sophomores completed. It's a long-term project. Starts pretty much at the beginning of sophomore year and even before sophomore year to get you thinking about things, and goes through the year and is due April 11th. That's all things that you work on in advisory, your report, your products, all those things must be uploaded to a Canvas page by April 11th. What goes into the whole thing? Well, the process of it includes research, right? You have to determine what kind of thing you want to learn about. You have to research that thing, you have to learn that thing, and this is something that should be something you're passionate about, something you have real interest in, something you want to learn, something that you always wanted to try out, but you're like, I don't have time for that. This is the opportunity to kind of do that and take that on to determine whether or not you continue on with it or it leads to something else. And then you learn what it's like to take on long-term projects, which will only serve you well for future years here at Mountainside, college, outside of school situations. If you're taking on a house, you're buying a house, there are going to be long-term projects. So what do you need in order to successfully complete a project in school or beyond?
If you're having trouble thinking of a topic, don't worry. There's all sorts of things that you can think of, be it something related to a school subject, or a community or a career-related thing, or even like a hobby of yours. MYP consists of three big things: your journal, where you're logging progress in, the final work, and of course the essay at the very end. So make sure you are journaling, because it will count to help you. Since you're keeping a recollection of it, it will help you later on the essay when you're summing it up. When writing your essay, you need to focus on maximums.
The maximum report's length is 15 pages, and 15 pages at an 11-point font is minimum. Don't go super big either. Formats also includes 2-centimeter margins, and that's according to the IB planning guide. Bibliography, anything you research should be uploaded separately. It's not included in the page limits.
By the way, make sure you cite your sources if you have any papers you're citing from. Not citing your sources is an awful move for both your grade and your credibility as a person.
There is no title page. Don't include a title page because that's going to be part of your page counts. So leave that off. Don't need a title page for this. Images, if you have images, you probably have images you want to contribute and submit as part of, to show your learning of what you've done, what you've cooked or baked, for instance. They should be clear. They should be appropriately sized. We should be able to see these things. And all of this all together, by the time April 11th rolls around, you should have worked on this for 25 hours total. 25 hours over the course of many, many months. So it's very achievable, and the amount of time that you have in advisory lends itself to completion of the project in 25 hours. What happens? What happens if you fail the project? And we'll use the word fail kind of kindly here, because you can fail the product. You can fail what you try to achieve through your product. And I'll talk about that in a second. But what happens if you fail, if you don't pass the project, if you don't turn it in, is you end up with me junior year, and I will call you in during your free time, and you will have to do something that is unfortunately not as fun, not as self-directed, doesn't give you as many choices or options, but it's going to help you fulfill that requirement for advisory and earn you an S, which will help you then graduate from high school. If you don't do it junior year, you don't have the time, choose not to engage with what we do during junior year to make it up, you have to do something extra during your senior year. And senior year, you have your senior presentation. You're trying to just wrap up high school. So it just makes sense to do something that's fun during your sophomore year, where things are less stressful, less hectic, to get it out of the way, but also enjoy yourself. Who grades the essays and how are they graded? That is an excellent question. I'm glad we're going to address that one. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. just kind of show you the criteria, and you should have this criteria given to you at some points in your advisory to show you what you're going to be graded on. Criterion A is planning. You need to write about, and all these things are meant to be typed up in your report. That's the 15-page max completion part of this project that you're going to submit to us. And this is the portion, the report. This is what we grade on. So all the teachers will go to different advisories. We will look at all the things that you contribute, you submit to us, your product, your pictures. But the report is the thing that we are going to be grading. So part of the report is the planning, criterion A. Have you stated a learning goal? Do you know what you wanted to try to achieve? Have you explained how that personal interest led to that goal? This is kind of just like your diary of what you did at the beginning that led up to what you studied and tried to learn. Did you state an intended product? Have you mentioned, like, I tried to learn saxophone and I tried to play this piece on the saxophone, or I wanted to learn how to crochet and my product that I wanted to create was a bunny, a purple bunny that is, I don't know, 10 inches high. That's your product. Did you also develop success criteria for that product, right? So were you playing the saxophone without any mistakes? Did you crochet the bunny without any loose strings or loose pieces of yarn that come out of the bunny? And that's all part of the rubric that you have in class that you create yourself, and you determine whether or not the product was successful or not. Have you presented a clear, detailed plan for achieving the product and its associated success criteria? So have you stated, like, what you're going to do to lead up to having a successful product? And you can completely fail your products. Here's kind of the one thing that most students understand is, like, you can completely fail your products, right? It doesn't have to be great. So if you tried to learn that saxophone, you just couldn't do it. You tried to play it, and there was many mistakes. You never actually got the fingering right. You never got the correct breathing techniques correct. That's okay. You can mark that on your rubric and say, I wasn't successful here. And then you'll type about those things in your reflection. Criterion B is applying skills, and this is where you talk about ATL skills. ATL skills are also something that should be mentioned, brought up in your advisory class. They are very specific. Some examples are communication, collaboration, organization, affective skills, reflection skills, information literacy skills, media literacy skills, critical thinking, creative thinking, and transfer. So all these things, you don't have to talk about all of them, but you should be talking about 2 to 3 that you were working on that helped you achieve your learning goal, but also ones that you tried to work on and develop in achieving your goal. So that's criterion B, and you have to talk explicitly in your report about those ATL skills. Criterion C is your reflecting. That's the final portion of your project, your reports. And in that section, the third section, you should be able to explain the impact of the project on yourself. So did you learn something? What did you learn about yourself? Are you going to continue on? Have you learned that, no, this is something you don't want to really focus on anymore? It's not really for you. It wasn't your jam. That's important, reflecting on the final thing. But also evaluate the product based on the success criteria. So again, this is your section. Kind of think about the product that I created, the bunny I tried to do, turned out to be 6 inches tall as opposed to 10. So it wasn't successful there. I spent more money on the products that I wanted to. All these things are part of the reflection, and you should be using your rubric to grade yourself on that product. Again, teachers will use this rubric to grade you on your reports, but you are grading yourself on the product that you create. I know it gets a little confusing. All right, so each one of these criterion is a score of 1 to 8, and teachers will determine whether or not it's a 1 or upwards of 8, and then they'll add them all together, and the total score will be out of 24. For our school, you have to earn an MYP grade of a 3 in order to pass the personal project. And then once you do so, you will earn your S for advisory. You will not have to worry about it again. But again, it sets you up for future learning. It sets you up for being successful in other classes. It's just an overall really, I think, amazing, awesome opportunity to have something, be given the opportunity to study something, anything that you want, and then be creative in what you produce after you learn something. So I hope you take it on. I hope you take it seriously. I hope you have some fun. And I will definitely see you out there. I'll visit your classes and say hi and check in to see how you're doing. Good luck.
And graduating is very important because
Money, jobs, workforce.
if you don't cite your sources, I just don't like you.
Most inspirational talk ever. Yeah, blah 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 blah. MYP blah 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 blah.
Day, blah blah blah.
Day.
Blah blah
Blah, blah, blah.
Record info.
Blah 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 blah. Shut. It's your conscience. Tell them to enjoy it. Okay, go. Tell them to enjoy it, Yasha. Because they won't write journals if they don't like their project.
Do not keep that in. Do not
Oh
keep that
man.
in.
What do you hate about your conscience, huh?
Because you don't sound like a conscience. You don't sound like a conscience. Okay.
Yasha. Tis I.
You wanna know what a conscience sounds like?
Yes. Yes.
I wonder if I should start.
Whoa! It's not in focus.
Joe.
I'm sorry.
That's how I say it every time. Okay.
Lies and slander.
Yeah. Are we recording now?
Yes. Blah 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 blah.
Senior year.
15 pages. Blah 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 blah.
Désormais comme on te fille française.
What are you saying?
Probably like one of your French girls.
Oh, okay. Blah blah blah. IB. Okay, smile. If you're not getting your IB diploma.